Now on BBC One, this week's Inside Out with Jamie Coulson.
Hello and welcome to Inside Out from Sheffield. This week on Inside Out, the South Yorkshire Police cold case team on the trail of a serial rapist from more than a quarter of a century ago.
I really thought I would first win the lottery before ever seeing this day in court.
Also tonight, battling breast cancer. The woman who's overcome incredible odds to fulfil her ambition to become a bodybuilder.
The geneticist put her head round the corner to call me into her office, and I knew as soon as I saw her.
And riding to victory.
The teenage BMX champion who's hoping to conquer the world.
I want to win the World and European Championships this year. I would like to get to 2012 Olympics, do really well in the 2016 Olympics, and just keep doing my best and getting better.
Earlier this year, we followed the work of the South Yorkshire Police cold case team as they went on the trail of a serial rapist who'd been attacking women in the 1980s. After more than a year of piecing together all the evidence, they were finally ready to go after their man. So what happened next?
I knew what was going to happen. I'd got into a car, what I thought was a taxi, and I knew within seconds it wasn't, and it was too late.
If they make a life decision to commit a serious crime of this nature, they can spend the rest of their lives looking over the shoulder, because it could come at any time.
November 2008, a man's arrested just before dawn in a Sheffield suburb. He's a rapist, but this is not a day he ever expected to see.
My team investigates serious crimes from many years ago, and as a result of that, that's why I'm here today. And I'll tell you that I'm arresting you for the abduction and rape.
I've been told exactly why he's been arrested and given sufficient details of each of the offences for him to be aware of why we've arrested him.
What's it got to do with you? Yeah. Well, I've arrested you because I believe you're the man responsible for all these offences.
It's taken the cold case team months of hard work to get to this point, but this story actually started 25 years ago.
I'd been working that night in a club called Vickers. My friends left and went into a taxi, and I went into a taxi across from the taxi station.
It's 2 a.m. in Sheffield. It's October 1984. The miners' strike is into its 7th month, and Stevie Wonder is #1 in the charts. A girl who we're calling Ruth is just 18 years old.
The man was stood outside his car and just said, "Where are you going?" And so I said, "Oh," I gave him the address and got into his car. I realised something was wrong when he took a different turning, and I said, "You've missed my turning."
Keep quiet.
I knew what was going to happen. As a young woman, I'd got into a car, what I thought was a taxi, and I knew within seconds it wasn't, and it was too late.
So, what happened then?
He drove me to a building where there was a dark car park, and that's where he raped me.
Ruth reported the rape, and her mother went with her to the police station that night.
Police was like being raped all over again in the police station. And first of all, I asked if I could be interviewed by a woman, but I was told there was none on duty. I was given comments like, "Pull yourself together. We had a young girl in here who was raped by 2 men the other night." I was basically told to stop being such a crybaby.
What effect did this have on you in both the short term and then the long term?
A few days later, I did attempt suicide, I'd not only been raped, but I'd been humiliated, degraded in the police station, and no one was believing me.
For more than a quarter of a century, Ruth lived her life without thinking she would ever see justice done. What she didn't realise was she wasn't the only woman to have come across this attacker.
We're looking at the investigation into 3 offences round about the same time.
Ray Hooley is a retired police officer who now works as an investigator for the cold case team. Today, he's doing some research at Sheffield Library.
We have very little often to start an investigation with, apart from copies of reports that are held by the Forensic Science Service. So we'll come here and look for any records from newspapers that might contain information that we can work with. This is the front page of the Star, and the incident I'm looking for is actually here on the front page. Once we've identified that they can extract the DNA from the original crime scene, we would start rebuilding the original case. We wouldn't want to re-traumatise the victim unless we were happy that we would arrest and charge.
It's now autumn 2008 and the team have a DNA match for the serial rapist.
It's just so much to ask of somebody after such a long time.
Liaison officer Jill Thomas and her colleague Joanne Bedford have the difficult job of trying to persuade the first rape victim to testify.
It's a horrible time for us, just not knowing what the result's going to be. If she does want to proceed, we need to arrange to actually do the video interview, because without that, we can't go out and arrest this man. If she says no, then he's got away with it, basically.
So how did that go?
Not too good from our point of view. She's had a good think about it overnight, and she just does not feel up to, going through with the prosecution.
A few weeks later, Jill Thomas is on the road again. The cold case team's research has led them to a second victim of the serial rapist. This time, it's Ruth.
It would, hopefully, if we get a conviction, get a very dangerous man off the streets. It is quite nerve-wracking. One false word and you could upset somebody, you could send them back years, you could psychologically do them a great deal of damage. So you do have to be very sensitive.
I really thought I would first win the lottery before ever seeing this day in court. Never thought. So seeing the police, my initial reaction was just shock, but relief as well. I actually smiled.
What did you think when the police asked you to help them pursue this case?
Oh, immediately I said yes. Oh, absolutely, yes.
Hello, sir, it's Jill. I'm fine. We've just been to see our victim, and she said yes. So we're all absolutely elated. Well, that's her words. Yeah. She said she's elated as well. So just thought I'd let you know. The whole team have been waiting for today. It's just meant so much to us, to get a complainant to bring this man to justice. There'll be a few pints of beer drunk in Sheffield tonight, I'm sure.
The arrest followed a few weeks later, and a second victim, now living in Scotland, agreed to give evidence.
Well, it's nearly a year since that arrest, and today Robert Wilson, also known as Joshua the High Priest, has finally been brought here to court. He's charged with 2 counts of rape, as well as burglary, robbery and kidnapping.
We're set ready for a week-long trial. Everybody's on the stops, ready to go.
And what are you hoping for today then?
Well, there is also always the possibility that this man might give a guilty plea at the last minute. However, I'm not expecting that.
But after a couple of hours, the police suddenly emerge from court.
It's wonderful that we've got the guilty pleas. I just never expected it. That's a massive surprise.
It is a relief, and I'm sure it's a massive relief to the 2 women that they haven't actually got to relive what happened to them all those years ago.
And have you managed to get the message across to them and tell them?
Yes, they're both aware. We'll be meeting up now to celebrate.
And how are they feeling?
I'm fantastic, absolutely relieved.
I didn't believe it at first. I just threw my arms around my mum.
What did it feel like?
Winning the lottery.
A few weeks later, Ian Harding is over in Liverpool. He's come to pick up another suspect, a man he believes may have raped a young woman back in 1985.
This guy's a new suspect, basically, a case we've been working on now for probably the best part of 12 months. Come up to custody officer, he'll book you out.
For Ian and the team, it's business as usual.
Just as we are processing some and taking them to court and getting results, there are others. Other cases being brought into the system.
The man arrested in Liverpool was charged with rape, and another victim may eventually see justice. Meanwhile, Joshua the High Priest was sentenced to 17 years in prison.
This is what we do this for. This is what we get out of bed every morning to do.
I had to live with the fact that I'd been raped, and no one believed me. I had the prison sentence 25 years ago. He's got his prison sentence now.
Coming up on Inside Out, Two Wheels Good.
Driver is ready, watch the gate. Boss! Wait for me!
Johnny Nelson tries to keep up with a teenage sporting champion.
Now imagine being given the choice to have healthy parts of your body removed now to avoid the possibility of breast cancer at a later date. That's exactly the decision that Tracy Barraclough from Leeds was forced to make. But as Nicola Rees has been finding out, it hasn't stopped her from fulfilling a rather unusual ambition.
Sometimes you'll walk into a gym and you'll see someone working out and you'll think, what's their story? What's motivating that person? Training at this gym in Morley 4 times a week, 49 years old and entering her first bodybuilding contest. Meet Tracy Barraclough.
I had up to an 85% chance of developing breast cancer and up to 60% chance of developing ovarian cancer, and I just wanted to do everything possible to stay healthy.
10 years ago, she made a dramatic choice to have radical surgery on a healthy body. What happened to you in your life that made you take this path?
3 major ops in 3 years, in 2 years. Double mastectomy, hysterectomy, my ovaries removed because there was a genetic mutation in the family.
Before surgery, she'd been given an 85% chance of getting cancer. Beating it left her hungry for a challenge.
It's been a process over a number of years, but the fitter I got, the fitter I wanted to be. And then I did the London Marathon last year. And after the London Marathon, I thought, now what?
Oh my goodness me. Look at you. How'd you walk in those heels?
With practice.
Slowly does it? Wow, look at that. Have you ever worn so little?
No, no.
We're in a cellar in Bradford where Tracy's being fitted for a very skimpy competition costume. It's being made by another Tracy, a former bodybuilding champion who now puts others through their paces.
Nice smile. She's asked me to help her with a bit of posing and to get her kitted out with all the bikini, to help her pose with the shoes and to just go through some feminine poses. A lot of people have misconceptions about lady getting into training and muscle and things like that, so it's really nice that people can see an ordinary person that's been through ordinary things that everybody else can go through to sort of come and to do something that's very unusual.
This bodybuilding contest involves meticulous preparation, right down to weighing her lettuce for lunch.
Speaking about competition, you're trying to strip all the fat from your body so that the muscle, you can see the muscle. You're trying to get the definition. Eating's a highlight of my day, whatever it is.
Tracy witnessed willpower firsthand when her mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in her late 40s.
My nana, her mum, had died from it at 52. My mum just, well, she was given or told she got 6 months to live. She actually lived 7 years. I've never seen determination like it in my life.
She had to find out if she'd inherited more than just her mother's determination.
The geneticist put her head round the corner to call me into her office, and I knew as soon as I saw her.
That must have been an incredible, moment to be sat there and to be given news like that. How do you cope with that?
I feel emotional talking about it. It was absolutely difficult times, yeah.
She took the drastic step of having healthy organs removed.
Did I want to live my life constantly going from hospital appointment to hospital appointment? Is this the day I'm going to get the news kind of thing? No thanks. I'd got a choice. My mum and her family didn't have that choice. For me, it was an opportunity, and I chose to live.
So when we look at families that have many cases of cancer, then it may be, and probably only is, one single gene that's important.
Scientists are discovering more and more genetic links to cancer, but Tracy's is still a very rare case.
Cancer is unfortunately very common, and so 1 in 3 of us will be diagnosed with cancer at some stage in our lives. So to have a family member with cancer is not unusual at all. The majority of women, and indeed the majority of women with breast cancer, will not have a mutation in such a gene.
3 years ago, I was found sat in my kitchen, hung over the work surface, absolutely sobbing.
Tracy's become a campaigner for cancer charities and an inspirational public speaker.
I don't believe we're given anything that we can't handle. I speak at any event, from banks right across the board to wellbeing. Every single thing's made me stronger, and actually some days I scare myself at how strong I feel.
It's competition day. Tracy and the other entrants are all arriving, trained, tanned and tense.
We're at the legendary Batley Frontier Club, the venue for bodybuilding's Mr. and Miss United Kingdom.
Looking round, there are a lot more men entering than women. She's got to focus now. It's showtime. The men kick things off. Each class has to pose all together, perform individual routines, then come back on stage for judging. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Tracy's changing colour.
Does that feel secure there?
I can't believe it's me.
And getting used to her revealing costume.
I feel every inch a woman and all the rest of it. But I know that they're implants, so it's not important. I think that's the bottom line, yeah.
Annette Turner, Samantha Mansley.
The other female competitors are already getting pumped up, but Tracy's still putting her makeup on.
Just go a bit more over the tops of your eyes.
With this?
Yeah.
Have you practiced a routine?
Oh, yes.
What is it?
Shirley Bassey, big spender.
Wow. And is it a variety of poses linked together? Or?
It's more of a little dance kind of thing.
Have you ever worn this much makeup before?
No, I don't like it. But it's all for a reason, so... Madness.
Quarter turn to your right.
I mean, this time... Well, in 2008, I did the London Marathon, so that was mad in a different way. This is in a different league. I've never known anything like it.
It's the moment she's been working up to, walking out with the other women, ready to be judged.
Right, ladies, a pose from the front with your hands above your heads.
Come on, Tracy.
Looking good so far.
Smile, Trace.
Now for the routine. It's the wrong music, and she's not having it.
Go up and sort the music out. Just go up. Just give us 2 seconds.
It's quite nerve-wracking, isn't it?
It's an agonising couple of minutes before they're sorted and she's back on stage.
Come on, Tracy! Go, Tracy!
Doing well, Tracy!
Yay!
Really proud of myself. So you should be.
In second
It's been
place,
some journey you've been on. There's not many up
Patrick
there that have been
Collard.
through what you've been.
She's come 7th out of 8, but it's not about the winning.
How does that feel? It feels fantastic, yeah. Although I didn't actually get a place, I'm not bothered. I love how I look, I love how I feel, and that's the main thing. I'm the best me I could be.
Now, we all know that Sheffield's a city of sporting excellence, producing the likes of heptathlete Jessica Ennis and cricket star Michael Vaughan. And despite all the hills round here, people do like to get out on 2 wheels, which might give you a clue as to the city's next rising star. She's just 16 years old and already competing on the world stage.
This is one of the UK's trendiest sports on 2 wheels. BMX racing is fast, thrilling and not for the faint-hearted. Big competitions now take place all over the world, and last year BMX made its debut at the Olympic Games in Beijing. But our story starts much closer to home.
Welcome to Sheffield. They say it's a city of sport. A city of hills, more like. Come on, keep up! Yeah.
I'm on my way to meet a family who live and breathe BMX.
Hello, you.
Hello, Johnny, how are you?
16-year-old Abby Taylor is the best female BMX racer in Britain.
So what is all this then? Is it a bike shop, a chop shop? What is it?
It looks like a bike shop at the minute. We're just fixing the bikes and stuff and checking they're all working properly.
Now I've had to cycle up some right hills to get here. Do you actually walk anywhere?
Not really, no. I'm not very good with 2 feet.
So what's your main events coming up this year?
I want to win the World and European Championships this year. I would like to get to 2012 Olympics, do really well in the 2016 Olympics, and just like keep doing my best and getting better.
Abby's sister Chloe is also a rising star, as is young brother Sam. And even Dad's proof that you're never too old to hit the dirt.
So you're a bit old for this, aren't you?
People keep telling me I am, yeah, but I've been doing it a long time now, but I don't really want to give up yet.
How old was you when you started doing it?
I was about 8 or 9 when I started doing it.
It was pretty trendy back then as well, wasn't it?
Oh, it were then. Yeah, it was pretty big in the 80s especially.
BMX was born in California in the early 1970s. The kids back then built their own dirt bikes. It was an instant hit in America. But it didn't really take hold over here until the early 80s. And things have changed a bit since then. BMX is now a force to be reckoned with, a sport to be taken seriously.
And they're going to show me how it's done. Ready, watch the go. Fuck! Wait for me!
The Taylor family have invited me along to one of their regular training sessions at Bowl Hill Park in Sheffield. It's my first time on a BMX track, as you can probably tell. But practice makes perfect, and I'm getting a lesson from the best.
You need a little practice over the jumps.
Do I push it down the humps?
Pedal your fastest, and then when you get to the top, relax and then push down the backside.
Basically, practice makes perfect. You don't pedal over the lip, because you might hit your pedal on the top of it.
Are you trying to bulge me?
Keep pedaling.
What do you think?
A lot more practice, a lot more days, and a lot more time. How long it just took you to get round there?
There's no call for that, was there?
Just telling you how it is.
Yeah, thanks.
It might look like fun and games, but the Taylor family are training for some big competitions. The latest is 400 miles away, in Holland, and I've been invited along for the ride.
It's no secret Dutch people love their bikes. Never mind 2 feet. This lot travel everywhere on 2 wheels. So what better place to host one of Europe's biggest cycling events?
This is the first stage of the European BMX Championships. There are 800 riders here from 22 different countries. But there's only one to watch. Abby's up against some of the best riders in the world. Anything less than a top 3 position in this race, and it's game over. For Abby's mum, Tanya, it's nail-biting stuff.
It's just the nerves I feel from, but I've got to not show them that, because obviously that'll make them more nervous. And I just say, yeah, good luck, and then I get in stands, and then my legs go, and everything goes.
All eyes are on you when you get on that start gate, I suppose. There's no hiding. So it's quite intimidating, really.
Abby's getting some great results in her qualifiers, but she'll still have to wait to find out if she's made it into the next round.
See if I get into the semi-final, then just keep trying to improve. Try and get through the semi-final, then get to the final and just do my best.
While the thrills and spills continue inside, I'm taking a breather with Abby's Olympic coach, Grant White.
So Grant, tell me about Abby.
Abby's had a great sort of history in BMX, achieved many world rankings. She has great support from her family, she has great determination, motivation, and yeah, she's a good kid as well, so it's a good little package for BMX.
So tell me, what's the future hold for her?
Yeah, well, she's on the Olympic development program now, and she needs to continually develop, and then, you know, we'll sort of watch her progression, and then potentially into academy, and then the podium level athletes.
Back inside the arena, and it's showtime. Abby's made it into the semis.
What's the line, ladies and gentlemen?
Dig it! Come on, Abby!
And what's going to do every day?
Abby's through by the skin of her teeth.
She's needed to get in the top 4, probably 10 metres from the end, pulled it back, pedal like hell, got through to the finals. She's done it.
The competition doesn't get much tougher than this, but Abby's made it into the grand final. And the motocross magic must be in the genes, as minutes later, it's Chloe's turn in the spotlight.
If they're big, you think they're going to be right fast, but sometimes they're not, and you've got to just give it your all, really. You've got to, like, try to shut them down and not let them get past you.
Chloe stormed through all her qualifiers and managed to come 6th overall. Not a bad result. But for Abby, nothing less than a win will do. It's her final race, and it's not going well. After a bad start, things get worse. Abby's legs are tired, and she's finding it hard to cut through the pack.
She was struggling to get back in then, and she looked like she got back in on the 3rd straight, but then got pushed out again on the last corner, so that was it, all over.
Abby's 5th position is not the result she wanted, but it's not the end of the world. She still has plenty more opportunities to turn her Olympic dreams into reality.
It's a fantastic achievement just to get to that stage. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of people never even get to that stage, so you can imagine it's a good achievement.
I think actually it's fantastic, and I'm proud of whatever they do just to get on the gate and to compete. You know, being young kids, just to be able to compete, I think, you know, they've got a lot of guts, and it's our life. Do you know what I mean? It is our life.
That's all from here in Sheffield. Make sure you join us for next week's programme.
When we'll be finding out how easy it is to become a hypnotherapist, even if you're a cat. We also look at the legacy left by disgraced architect John Paulson in Pontefract and celebrate 40 years of the classic coming-of-age film, Kes.